Hello there, I'm Big Alias, and I've seen something scummy. I've seen something gross. Maybe I should rethink the way I say these things. But I've seen something super gross. Someone posted a screenshot saying that Sony are considering dynamic pricing for their games, followed by another, another screenshot next to it of someone going to purchase, I think it was Assassin's Creed Unity, and it was one price when they were not signed in, and then another higher price when they were signed in. And wow, ill. And all I can think about there is this legal? Is it legal to do this? And on the one hand, it feels tremendously illegal, right? It feels like something that definitely shouldn't be happening and is definitely illegal, and that a company, they can't just do that. They can't just offer one price to one person and another to another. That feels so illegal. Imagine if they did that in a supermarket, like, oh, for you, John, that would be $4.99. Oh, but for you, Sarah, no, $7.99. I think that would open up a whole can of worms that it does make this feel illegal. I think a lot of people would then sort of say, well, you're discriminating for X, Y, or Z reason. And they can, say it's random until the cows come home, but it would lead to some major issues. And I will say that socially, I think, obviously, it is a bad idea, a very bad idea. Which is why I'm not sure, I'm not really sure if this is real. I think it might just be a sort of AI thing, or maybe they just made it up on the fly. But anyway, so is it illegal? I don't know, because it does feel illegal, but I think I may be confusing highly immoral with illegal here, because what I could see, and the closest thing I could see to this, is that there are companies who will offer one price for new customers and then another price for, existing customers. So it will be, to get you onto the service. Almost every company does this nowadays. To get you onto the service, here's the item for 20 quid, and it's like, oh, actually no, this for a regular customer it's like 50. And I hate that shit. I hate it, because it's like, well, if you could offer it for that price, then you could offer it for that price. And you're also penalizing other people for using the service, for being a part of it. It's so gross, but it is the way the world works. It is something that definitely happens. In this instance, I think that's the closest we could be to like, this is what's going to be happening. But in terms of just offering a different price to other people, it does feel illegal, but it does sort of happen. I was thinking about this, and when you book a holiday, they'll cookie your browser, and then they'll up the price when you go to buy it, if you've been viewing it for a long time, so that people know that, and it encourages people to just, hit the trigger, and do it straight away, rather than it before it goes up. It pushes people to make that purchase. So this is a thing. It does happen. In terms of holidays, different people are offered different prices. And it's scummy, and it's gross, and it should be illegal. Oh, it definitely should be illegal. But it's just somehow something that slipped through the cracks. It's not illegal. So there's a chance. There's a chance that this could be real. I don't think so, and I think it would be suicide for Sony to do that, because I will say, despite the fact that it does happen with things like holidays, gaming is very interlinked and very communicative, and people like to talk about the games that they're buying, how they're buying it, where they're buying it, and how much it costs. So if, one person's like, oh yeah, I picked up Assassin's Creed Unity for $4.99, and someone says, oh, it's $9.99 for me, it's just gonna look so bad for Sony. It would be such an awful look. And is it worth it for a potential slight monetary gain, or would it even be a gain? If you're offering different prices to different people, you might be making a loss on some of them if it's just randomly generated and an item was going to be $7.99. One person gets it for $4.99 and the other gets it for $8.99. Then, are you really making that much of a profit? You're making a pound. It's certainly not worth it for the awful reputation that they would get. But again, I am taking this seriously in this commentary when I really don't think this could be the case. They're just not thick enough, surely, not to do something as asinine as this. It would just be awful for them. But that being said, I'm burned out. I've talked about this, I think maybe in the last video or the video before that. It feels like that gaming crash that people talk about could be imminent. in all honesty. There is a chance that this could be happening. And with the way that it's been going, and Sony also talking about renting your consoles now rather than buying them, you don't even own it when you're done leasing, and stuff like that, just the nosedive that the industry is going through. And I don't just mean gaming, to be honest with you. Pretty much every industry is just going through this awful nosedive where they invested billions into AI and it's not popping off in the way that they thought it would, so they need to recoup those costs somehow. Therefore they are just upping the price of everything and making everything extortionate because they made bad investments into AI, and they'll blame us for not liking AI, and now of course we have to pay for it, and because of that we're seeing all of this horrible stuff happening, and it's only going to get worse with all of these wars going on, by the way, and the tariffs as well. Thank you, pedo Cheeto man. With all of this going on, I don't feel like it's exciting anymore. Gaming. Let me get this straight. I'll be clear with this. Gaming is my main hobby. I love doing it. I love playing games. I am going through such a tremendous bout of depression right now. That gaming is an escape for me. It's a way to be somewhere else and be doing something else. And that being said, I've had to come across the notion of what if it's something you can't do anymore? What if it's something you can't take part in? And previously that was a devastating notion. Oh my god, the idea of not being able to play video games is so crazy to me. And I'm not saying that I'm off games, because I still love them and I still like playing video games. And like I said, they're even more of a service for me now. They're very important to me. But I have gone through the rafters in such an intense way in terms of gaming, with all of the mistakes they've been making, the insane Game Pass price hikes and all of this, to where I've had to say to myself, okay, all right. And I've trained myself in my mind and my battered and bruised mind to just be okay with the notion of it, of all right, maybe I won't be able to fuck with gaming one day, and that's just gonna have to be okay. And they've done that. They've made me apathetic. I really, I to be honest with you, this wouldn't affect me all that much anyway. I don't really buy all that many video games. I will say that this year, 2026, is the first year since the service launched that I have not been on the highest tier of Game Pass. I've gone down to Premium from Ultimate. I'm not paying $23.99 a month for Game Pass. You have got to be out of your goddamn mind. When I signed up for Game Pass, it was £1 a month for a year or 6 months or something like that. Now, granted, that was a special entry deal. Again, with those entry-level deals. But even after that, I think it went up to I think it was $6.99 or $7.99. And I did think to myself, wow, this is quite a bit. Is this something I should be doing? $23.99 in less than 10 years. In less than 10 years, it's gone up by that much. Absolutely fucking not a hope in hell, no way. So I've gone down to Premium, and I think I'm paying £10 a month now, and I'm fine with it. I haven't missed a beat. Am I disappointed I haven't been able to play things like High on Life 2, Outer Worlds 2, stuff like that? I haven't been able to play those games. Is it a little bit annoying? Yeah, it's a little bit annoying, that I can't play them, but I can wait, I can be patient. I'm disappointed I wasn't able to play High on Life 2 because I did like the first one, but I'm just going to have to be okay with that. It's just going to have to be fine. Okay, because, they've backed me into a corner where I'm not going to pay $23.99 a month for your service, so I'm just going to have to be okay with missing out, and that's kind of where we're at, and it's where people are going to go as these services, which they put us in this position where everything becomes a service now. As the services go up and up and up and up, people are just going to have to be okay with saying, well, okay, I'm just going to have to miss out. And we're going to have to course correct this, and it's going to have to right itself eventually if things keep going up like this. But this is where I'm at. There's been such a scummy approach, so frequently new, horrible, awful anti-consumer, steps being taken constantly in this industry, to the point where I just can't care anymore. I just can't care as much as I want to. And I still love the games, and I still want to play them, and I still want to get lost in these worlds. But I'm just not going to get excited. I'm not going to care about your experience anymore. I just can't do that, you know. If things like this continue in the way that they are, go fuck yourself. I main Halo MCC, and I play games that go onto Game Pass. I really don't buy all that many games, and that's, you know, so if this price thing happens, I just won't. And that's how it's gonna be, and that's how it's gonna have to be. And you did this, and I'm not just talking about gaming, I'm talking about every industry. Yeah, stop it. Stop making things worse for people. No, because when things get worse for people, there's people they just don't want to experience the thing, and that's me. Somber end, I suppose. I'll see everyone later.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles.